324 to 344, 21 slokas are pertaining to Bhakti Sadachara. Holding his hand, Sanatana Goswami said, "My Lord, you ordered me to write a directory about the activities of Vaishnava. I am the most low-born person. I have no knowledge of good behavior. How is it possible for me to write authorized directions about Vaishnava activities?" Sanatana Goswami then requested the Lord, "Please personally tell me how can I write this book about Vaishnava behavior. Please manifest yourself in my heart. If you would please manifest yourself in my heart and personally direct me in writing this book, then, although I am a low-born, I may hope to be able to write it. You can do this because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead yourself, and whatever you direct is perfect." Now, this is the first and foremost etiquette of a mature Vaishnava. He thinks himself to be so much, incapable to carry out an order. We find in the life of Haridas Thakur, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes about the humility that when Haridas was ordered to describe the efficacy of the holy name, he was so much sober and putting himself, he picked up straws in his mouth and profuse cryingly, he submitted himself. "My dear Lord, you know, I am a low-born Muslim, I am uneducated, and how can you order me? I have no capacity on my own." And Chaitanya, "Haridas, don't try to play with me. I ordered you, so you speak." Then he said, "Oh, this is just like skies falling on me. Huh? What should I do? I have no capacity. But because you ordered me, I must try. But I have to request you first. Can you please reside in my mouth and my tongue, and you vibrate, and I will not consider whether I am speaking right or wrong. You vibrate." Satyajana Mahaprabhu smiled. The devotees by humility attracts the attention of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, humility is the first and foremost manifestation showing our real inability. Our inability is not a qualification as such, but it is an essential trait of imbibing the character of a Vaishnava. It's not a trait. Trait means it should not be, artificially a character. No, but it should be coming out from the heart itself. Wow. Oh. This is awesome. All right. So, similarly, Sanatana Goswami is the foremost of all the Goswamis, senior. And he tried to show the humility, but when he met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Chandrasekhar Acharya's place in Varanasi, he was very dirty, he was very much afflicted of long fatigue, but he was carrying a very good kambal, the short because his brother-in-law gave him on the way, you will need it. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu noticed it. Why don't you donate this to somebody else? So he did. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, go and take bath in Ganges, come and get shaved up. Otherwise, with the same kind of body, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first embraced him. At that time, there was no need of so-called cleanliness. Sanatana Goswami was pure. He perfected the art of devotion. And the first and foremost character that is for eternal period is humility. So whenever we are ordered to say something, express our inability on our own, we have nobody. In American schools, they are telling always, think you are somebody. You have a place. Always think, don't discourage. He is somebody. Oh my God, we are not nobody. There's a constant conflict between somebody and nobody. What will you prefer? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Sanatana Goswami to write Vaishnava Smriti, Hari Bhakti Vilas, Chaitanya Charitamrita Leela. So this Hari Bhakti Vilas becomes the standard for what are the duties of a Vaishnava, starting from rising up early morning, all the way up to the end of the day when the deities also go to rest. A Vaishnava behavior is a Daimya Nandini. Daimya means humble, Nandini means the report. As if this is the report card. What we do? So, Sanatana Goswami also says that I am low-born, I may hope to be able to write it. You can do this because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead yourself, and whatever you direct is perfect. So please, reside in my heart and direct. Prabhupada also says, I don't know, I cannot write these books and these many books, but I was ready, whatever Lord Krishna dictated me and I write. I have not written this. These are the dictation of Lord Sri Krishna. So any book is capable to delivery, small or big. And Prabhupada said, please read my books, please read my books. Even I am reading my books, Prabhupada said. Because I don't know what I wrote. I do not know what I wrote. I have to read my books. But all this configuration, systematic, composition of all the different effects of the holy name and the soundness of nature was perfectly fitting in these descriptions. So it's an honest effort. Honesty is first accept your inability, because we always think that we are imperfect. We are filled with imperfections. Four imperfections are there. What are those? Imperfect senses, second. Because of imperfect senses, we make mistakes. And we also become illusion. Then we cheat. Cheating doesn't come first. Because of imperfect senses are there, my imperfection is better than yours. Nobody will say that. It is the other way around. You are more imperfect than me. So this is the truth. That the point is that we need to think about ourselves, not about others. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, whatever you want to do, you will be able to do correctly by Lord Krishna's favor. He will manifest the real purpose. Because you asked me for synopsis, please hear these few indications. In the beginning, one must take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. In your book, there should be the characteristics of bona fide guru and the bona fide disciple. Although guru ashra. But then, what are the qualifications of it? And what are the qualifications of one who is taking shelter? The disciple. Both should be written. Then before accepting the spiritual master, one can be assured of the spiritual position, master's position. That means verification. Spend some time and see whether your spiritual master is bona fide or not. At the same time, the Guru also checks him out whether he is having genuine interest. Is a bona fide disciple? But nobody talks about bona fide disciple. Only bona fide. Right? Both should be discussed. But each other can examine. You are given time and see according to your understanding whether you are convinced or not. You may take somebody else's help. But then if you are going to take somebody's help, he will drag you somewhere else because you do not know. You do not know. So, a candidate's bona fides is required equally to understand the bona fides of Guru. Guru is dependent on sadhus and scripture shastra. Okay? But the disciple is dependent on Guru Shastra. So sadhus are the chain of disciplic succession, and he has his own guru. So his Guru Sadhu Shastra becomes the cardinal principle that you go to understand the bona fides of either the disciple or the guru. You should discuss the qualification necessary for receiving a mantra, the perfection of the mantra, the purification of the mantra, initiation, morning duties, remembrance of the Supreme Lord, cleanliness, washing the mouth and other parts of the body. Oh my God. He's entering into private business. How do we wake up, how do we brush our teeth, and how we go to toilet, and everything. Baba, you understand, Prabhupada taught the devotees, early devotees, giving up toilet tissues, took a lota, and all the way up to entering in the kitchen and cleanliness. You remember the incident of Jamuna was getting married, and Janaki, her sister, came and she was smoking and everything. And Prabhupada called, why don't you come and help me in the future? Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Then somehow she touched her head. I said, go and wash your hands. Yeah, so many times. And she was habituated to smoking, so she went out, took a little time off and smoked and came. Prabhupada said, did you wash your hands? With soap and water. So many times Prabhupada needed the cleanliness in order to insist upon the necessity to approach the supernatural truth with external cleanliness and internal cleanliness. Both are required. What to speak of cleansing the heart through the holy name. So, in the morning one should regularly brush his teeth, take his bath and offer praise to the Lord and offer obeisance to the spiritual master. One should render service to the spiritual master, paint one's body 12 places, and 12 places with Urdhva means tilas. One should stamp the holy names of the Lord on his body, tattoos, stamping with the holy name. And instead they put the whole tattoo there. They carry the tattoo in the fire. One should render service to spiritual master, and the tilak. One should stamp the holy names of the Lord on his body, or one should stamp the symbols of the Lord, such as the disc and club. That is also very well done in South India with branding. You know the branding? They are metallic, hot stamps that push on the body. That say, ah! But that's good. It's branded forever. After this, you should describe how one should decorate his body with Gopi Chandan, wear neck beads, collect tulsi leaves from the tulsi tree, cleansing his mouth, and that is Anchmanam, Sadharana Anchmanam or Vishishta Anchmanam, whatever, and the altar, cleanse his cloth and wash the altar. The altar has to be kept clean. Cleanse one's own house or apartment and go to the temple and ring the bell, just to draw attention of Lord Krishna. Also describe the deity worship, wherein one should offer food to Krishna at least 5 times a day. One should in due time place Krishna to bed on a bed. You should also describe the process of offering arti and the worship of Lord according to the list of 5, 16 or 15 ingredients. 15 ingredients. Wow. Sorts of charge is the minimum that we do in our temple. But 15 ingredients on the festival days. The characteristics of the deity should be discussed as well as the characteristics of Shalagram Sila. One should also discuss visiting the deities in the temple and touring holy places like Vrindavan, Mathura and Dwarka. You should glorify the holy names and carefully give up offenses when chanting the holy name. One should know the symptoms of a Vaishnava. One must give up or nullify all kinds of seva aparad offenses in the deities. How do you do that? Beg forgiveness. And every time you do service to the deities. Items of worship such as water, conchal, flower, incense and lamp should be described. You should also mention chanting softly, offering prayer, circumambulating, and offering obeisances. All this should be carefully studied. Other items to be considered are the methods of performing Purashcharan, that is purification, taking Krishna Prasad, Giving up unoffered food and not blaspheming the Lord's devotees. This is also a very important point that devotees should remember. A Vaishnava is not supposed to take anything that has not been offered to Krishna. We should be very careful about that. And because I have seen practically all over the world, we are developing a tendency to eat things that are not offered. The only consideration has become if the food is vegetarian, but we are supposed only to take Krishna Prasad. So even if it is vegetarian, then bring and offer it to Krishna. Being vegetarian doesn't mean you will go back home, back to God. And Prabhupada said, even the Fijians are vegetarian. Try to avoid as much as possible. When you are traveling or if you are on a Sankirtan, then it is different. But still try to offer everything to Krishna before you take it. One should know the symptoms of a devotee and how to associate with the devotee. One should know how to satisfy the devotee by rendering service, and one should know how to give up association of the non-devotees. One should also regularly hear the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. We can see how Prabhupada actually implemented all these instructions of Sanatana Goswami in our society. He did not leave any stone unturned. You should describe the ritualistic duties of every day, and you should describe the fortnightly duties, especially observing Ekadashi fast, which comes every fortnight. Now here also important things to consider. We will generally think that just by not taking grains, we are observing Ekadashi. But actually when we talk about observing Ekadashi, it actually means fasting. And fasting means not taking anything. Fasting does not necessarily mean just fasting from the grains. Oh, can make sabudana khichdi. Do all these items, and our Ekadashi feast is better than every day prasadam. But it has been purposely done. Otherwise people will not fast. That is also another fact. So Ekadashi preparations are oily and popular. But as one makes an advancement, one should try to fast completely. Also it has been directed that one may also stay awake for 24 hours. They were practicing. In Forest Hills, New York, many devotees were practicing, but they could not sustain